Give me one sec. Welcome back to your favorite comedy finance channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I have BlackRue. Well, I usually say BlackRue, but it's BlackRue Investing. What's going on, bro? It's good to see you again.
Same, brother. Every day, another challenge, another day in crypto. Everything's cool on my end, bro.
That's awesome, man. Well, let's kind of freestyle it today. We could talk about some of the favorite projects you have on your mind or whatever you're taking a look at, and we'll kind of go from there. What's the new thing over there on your side, bro?
Looking at CAS. I don't know if you ever heard of CASPA.
I did. I have heard of it, and you're probably honestly, I've been hearing about it a lot. Tell me about it. Tell me about it because I haven't got to do my research on it at all.
All right, let's go. So CASPA, it's a block DAG, if you can believe that. So they're like combining the blockchain and the DAG to get the security and the speed and scalability. So you could actually mine it if you want to. And the CEO of Uphold was really like gaga about it. And I started following the CEO of Uphold's account. I knew he was going to like list it. And sure enough, he did list the token. And yeah, I think sitting at it's at like 2.7 cents right now.
I'm looking at the chart right now, 0.027. And it's not too bad, to be honest, just based on the tokenomics. I like that everything's in circulation. And we touched on it, I think, with CryptoArk. One of our other guys out there, you guys should do an interview one of these days. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah,
He's
for
really
sure.
Funny, dude. He's like hilarious. Like sometimes when I'm watching some of his videos, you ever meet a trader that like lets you know if they got wrecked? That's him. Like he is hilarious, But no, but it does look pretty decent. It's not a bad entry. Let's take a look. What was the low point?
The low point? Oh man,
Okay,
like 0.07. I think I got in personally at and my patrons, shout out to the patrons. I think we got in at 1.7.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Not
I mean,
bad.
that's already almost a 2x or a 2x, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
That's not too bad. And for the cap, it's not too bad for the price either. It's a better deal than VeChain. If you I don't know if this is a better one than VeChain. I'd have to really look at it. You know what I mean? But based on tokenomics and where it's at versus taking a look at something like VeChain for, that's 3 pennies about, and the cap on that's a lot larger if I, could recall it.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Okay, look, I'm a little bit fucked up right now. So my data might be a little bit topsy turvy, but I'm pretty sharp. I'll be all right. But
you will, bro. You will, bro.
Here's the thing. Like, I kind of forgot. I was like, oh shit, I have an interview today with BlackRue, and I gotta fucking make it back. So
well, it's amazing that you could do that with everything you had going on, bro.
What's kind of crazy is I do this for a living. So, I do it 24/7 and I'm addicted, don't get me wrong. I'm addicted to MYC. But here's the thing. It's like when you're so involved and, you have a community like ours, that's like trying to build something, we want to do something. Yeah. And, because we have so much passion in it, I don't know about some of these guys. I mean, everyone's a little bit different depending on what you're doing, or how involved in the sector you are. I know you're very involved in the sector, and you probably have your network of people that are for real in the sector. So, it's always like, we're always here, it's like we live halfway in the digital life and like halfway in real life. And, even when I'm going out, it doesn't matter if I'm slapping dollars in a G-string. I'm checking my Twitter, or I'll check odd app, you know, or I'll take a look and be like, okay, what's the market looking like, you know?
Right.
What's the forecast, you know? But it is like that, you know, you're so involved in it that you just kind of like morph into this hybrid creature, you know? I
Right,
don't know
bro.
what I'm talking about. It's really the best way I can explain it, you know?
And then been kind of bullish on Jasmine lately. I know that's one you like a lot.
Yeah, first entry was 0.0029 on that. We, you know,
What?
yeah,
Nice, bro.
I saw, no, seriously, like I mean, whenever we're scoping something out, we're very like trigger happy. We're trigger happy, but we want to make sure that like that's a bottom, you know, and we were able, I know I was able to capture it. You know, I don't know about these guys. Like I typically tell everybody, like as soon as I see something or as soon as I feel like I really like something or I'm going to jump in, but like, hey guys, I really like this. So I'm going to be playing with this one. See what happens. You know, a lot of our guys bring up a bunch of random shit. You know, like we have, you know, Raj is probably one of our greatest traders. He's really fun. And you know, he's been bringing up like fucking like Pepe and Jesus and shit like that, like, you know, all these random tokens here and there. So you know, we all like different things. You know what I mean? We all talk about different things, and that's always cool. But anyways, you know, because everyone talks about their shit, I'm going to talk about my shit too. You know, and that's the type of community we got. It's like, I keep hearing from, you know, different places that people get banned for talking about different picks or some shit, you know. So
really,
yeah, seriously. So I never want to ever see that type of environment. You know what I mean? Especially for our people. Our people are very like free spirited. You know what I mean? So I always want to make sure that we get to talk about whatever, but like on the dot though. You know, I really hate it. Like I tell my guys sometimes, like I don't like seeing a good pick if you motherfuckers bring it to me like after a fucking like 500% pump. You know what I mean? Like I want to be there.
Yeah. And
You
that's
know,
always the hard part. Like people get excited over the new
all right,
thing.
you know, I'll pay. Like it'll be on my watch list for sure. You know what I mean? I guess there's always going to be value in hearing about a project. You know, but at least you know you brought it up or whatever. But I know all of us still bitch each other out at some point. Like, yo, why didn't you tell me before though?
Right.
You know?
Heck yeah.
But yeah, it looks pretty good, bro. I like POS. What do you like more, POS type of projects or POW?
Well, I was watching you guys yesterday. You made a real good case about proof of stake.
I don't know.
You made a real good case about proof of stake, but you know what? I think proof of work really kind of protects you. Like somebody can't just come in and like stake it all or like have these huge validators. So I'm either way about it, but to me, it's all about really like ROI. Like what's the good ROI?
I think there's a market for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, I like to feel like we're all in different offices. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a leverage trader. I'm just never going to do that. It's just not me.
Neither.
I just don't. It's just not me. So, you know, we have a couple of our guys. Shout out to Lee G, I think is his, or Lee Q or something like that. And then Checkmate also, you know, they love that stuff. You know, they're pretty good at it or whatever. I'm not going to touch that shit, you know?
Yeah, me neither. It's too much to try to get like liquidated. You got to watch it every second. I'm not trying to get liquidated.
Yeah. You see, I don't have the time to watch markets like that. So I try. Right. I'm not a short-term trader, not a leverage or anything like that, you know. But I see, I mean, trust me, I see people do very well on that stuff, you know. But it's their thing, you know. And I'm a long-term type of holder, and I like massive multipliers. I want to wait. So that's more us, right? That's more our type of strategy.
Yeah, for sure, 100%, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, to be honest with you, a lot of people. They get surprised when I say this. It's like I don't really watch markets too much. Or like I don't watch like my picks. You know what I mean? Right. Like I can watch like the macro scheme of things. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to be continuously watching picks. You know, I try not to do that just for my own mental health. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
for sure.
I just don't want to. I feel like if you have your head down, you're working and you're, you know, of course, still producing income, and then on top of that, paying attention to like the economy or like learning that type of data. I feel like that does better for everybody when you just you focus on that, you know, versus your like. I mean, if you're gonna be here till clearly after having, right, you know, so that's
100%, and that's
about a year away, you know, because
that's exactly what I tell my people. Like, having is the goal, but I might look out for like little catalysts like moon cycles.
Yeah.
Like you know, moon cycles whenever the Fed's gonna speak, you know, different things like that for like short-term gains. But really, it's the having. That's packing the bags for the having. That's what we're doing here. But speaking about small time catalysts, there's supposed to be a lunar eclipse tomorrow, and the last time we had a lunar eclipse was the FTX debacle. So
fuck.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens tomorrow. So let's see what happens.
It's not a riddle. It's a moon cycle, though. Well, you know something? These bankers are fucking moon worshippers. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
100%. Around here, you know, there's no doubt these people are fucking weird. They're fucking weird. There's no doubts, you know. And what's even, well, you know, what's stupid is we have all this censorship going on, and you have people that are the founders of the Fed utilizing this arm, this fucking octopus fucking arm, to collapse other banks, to basically consolidate power. And, you know, and it's always going to be at the expense of the people. We're going to be the ones paying for all the bullshit,
That's
all
true.
bad bets and on all those other things. So
one way or the other.
I mean, well, you know, they censored Kanye. They took away his bank account. You know, they censored like Nick Fuentes and, you know, a lot of these other guys, you know, because of whatever their political beliefs were. But we got
that's exactly why I have a Rockfin account. So I can go on Rockfin, talk about all the different things, you know, that they won't let us talk about on YouTube. But then in a sense, we get siloed.
You know, I don't know if you noticed, but like, they take away views, they take away, you know, all the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, our channel is definitely shadow banned. There's no doubts. But, you know, it's always been like that, bro. I mean, like, we used to be banned for like about a year back in the day when we like first started. You know what I mean? So, you know, but we still kept running. You know, we just ran on Telegram, Discord, and shit like that. And then, you know, we built our own thing after that from all the bullshit we deal with there. You know, so I think it's an evolving process. I think eventually, like, the entire sector will slowly, like, clearly, you know, everyone starts from somewhere, they're going to grow and they're expanding and stuff like that. But eventually everyone's going to have their own decentralized social network. Like, 100%. You know,
and their own subscriptions, right?
Exactly. You know, well, look, I was just talking about this yesterday, you know, look at the music now, you know, the video games. Like, you used to be able to own your disc, you know, you burned whatever you burned, or, you know, you had whatever you downloaded, you had it was inside your computer. And now they don't do that. Like on your phone.
Yep.
You know, you have to stream. Everything's a stream. Yeah, a stream.
100%. I was talking to my sister about this too.
You know?
Look at Audible. We don't even have books anymore. You go on Audible, you get it, you know, the audio book, or you go on Kindle and you pay for the right to see the PDF. You don't have a book anymore.
Well, you know, I kind of think sometimes like technology is like the state's answer to inflation, you know, because you think about it, like it does kind of create some sort of digital economy, but at the same time, it kind of makes things cheap enough where it eliminates human labor in such a way where people aren't going to notice, you know, I guess, I don't know, like the loss in velocity of money, I guess. I don't know, like, you kind of get where I'm going though. You know, you ever like technology to me is like, yeah, you know, they sell it to you in such a futuristic way. And yeah, there's definitely futurism to it, but you know, it's a good way to mask how poor the country is becoming. If you really think about it, right? Can't afford human labor more, you know.
That's a very true point.
You know, we can't afford humans. You know, if the cost of the inflation cost is eating too much profit. Here's a fucking robot. You know, we can get rid of the fast food people.
Ooh,
You know, oh, we gotta get rid of the Uber people. You know, like all of that stuff is, to me, an answer to inflation. But you know, something that I think monetary manipulation, or like I think the monetary system is used to kill people too. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, poverty
100%.
kills people too. Like I think of that movie Platform all the time, literally. Like
what's
every
Platform? I haven't seen that.
So every conference that we have with Jerome Bowles, you know, you should think about this movie called Platform, and the movie Platform is about how each level in this elevator, it leads to a new room, right? You know, every room is like,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
but like it's like, I forget, it's like 1 to 100. And number 1 is like, it has a table at the very top, right? You know, so let's say you were on level 1, right? There's a platform, right? And it has the table and then a bunch of food on it, like a gourmet feast, you know. And all the people at number 1, they eat all this food. They eat as much as they can, and then the platform goes down the next level, and then it goes down to like all the way down to 100, where there's like scraps. There's like nothing, you know. So like,
yeah, you know what? That's the game. Yeah. That's the game. But I don't think like middle class is disappearing. So that middle platform is really disappearing.
Exactly. So, that's exactly what I'm coming across. I mean, I just heard about that guy, Jordan or whatever, Neely or whatever. Right.
No, I haven't heard.
Anyway, it's, you know, some, you know, another, you know, black guy story got killed because of, you know, some sort of political nonsense type of bullshit. But, you know, in this particular case, this guy was like, you know, he had like 50 charges at the time. He was acting erratic. You know, he was like attacking people and saying he didn't care if he was going to go to jail. And clearly, like, you know, he was like freaking out. Skits, you know,
something wrong mentally. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he ends up getting into a physical altercation to the point where he gets killed, you know, and now, you know, the whole political bullshit's doing its thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, you know, that's well, I forgot exactly where I was going with this. What topic were we on before that?
No, man, we were talking about like how middle class is disappearing, how robots are replacing jobs, how AI is on its way to replace jobs as well too.
Man, I hate it. I hate it when I lose thought, like my loose train of thought. I was like, damn, there was somewhere I was going with this, because it's like,
come back, bro.
Oh, now I remember. I saw the video before he freaked out, and you know, he was talking, I guess, or like there was a news article online saying like he was posting about how he was hungry, and he was, you know, didn't care if he was going to go to jail again. He needed to go back to jail so he can get food, you know, because he was so desperate.
Damn.
And it's fucking sad, you know, because I feel like it's true. I think it does happen, you know, and maybe even if this man is crazy, that situation is not crazy. There's a lot of people out there starving to death. You know what I mean? And it's like in America, that's the bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not supposed to be a third world country. We shouldn't have this bullshit going on. It's like, nobody wants to ask these politicians what they're doing to fucking decrease, you know, employment there, or, you know, let's increase layoffs in the government. How about that? You know, if I was going to talk to a politician, I would love to just be like, what are you doing to reduce the government? Like, what are you doing to, you know, like start dividing up those jobs? Because the less of you there are, you know, the better it is for a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? Like if we could have one politician run on reducing the government by like 70%, that'd be nice. That would be nice.
Oh, that'd be fantastic, bro. Yeah. And you look at a lot of people, like a lot of our politicians are over 80. Like how are they up here making like crypto laws
or bloodlines, that type of bullshit?
That too. You know? Yeah. I was just thinking about, like, recently been talking about how big of a scam Social Security is. It's like,
yeah, or your credit scores, you know.
that too. But like, think Social Security, right? You can't get it until you're like 65. I think it used to be 61, right? And you know, you pay into the system all your life. And then what if you die at like 60? So if you die at 60, you get zero of all the money you put into the system. Now, somebody who like really loves the government might say, well, there are people that live till they're 85 or whatever. And, you know, you got to account for those people. But my answer to that is like, okay, why does it have to be one way or the other? Okay, when I'm 60, why can't my family get like 5% of that money or 10% of that money? Like, I paid into the system for like 40 years and I die before I can use Social Security. Why doesn't my family get to have some of that money? You know what I mean? Like, it's there. It was my money. I gave it to the tax system.
I want it now.
Right. Right. Especially, you know, like you think about, okay, the game is, they always say like, okay, don't depend on Social Security. If you're depending on Social Security, you're stupid.
Yeah.
But the game in that to me is like, okay,
yeah,
if I invested my own Social Security money, I would have way more than you just taking it from me.
Well, it's such a big problem, you know. It like whenever I think about Social Security and I guess the, you know, the quote unquote need for it, you know, the problem is a lot of people don't realize that back in the day, people used to retire a lot fucking earlier, you know, and there was not that much dependency, you know, and the whole reason why the economy suffers as much as it does, or like people suffer as much as it does, is because there's so much red tape on anything and everything. You know what I mean? And it's not just the crypto sector. It's every sector. Like America is chained up. Like it's like literally chained up under so much bullshit regulations, manipulated from monopolies that have nothing to do with what we're about. You know, there's not even a free market anymore. You know, that's what I love about DeFi. I feel like DeFi is like the first real free market ever given to us in probably the past, let's say, I would say about 200 years, if that. I don't know about how early the old, you know, stocks or anything like that, right. Or, you know.
It really is. Shout out to my guy, Crypto Blood. I was listening to his channel a couple of days ago. He was talking about just how many regulators we have out there, right? I'm not sure if you're aware, but the whole Binance buying Voyager deal fell through, and that's because like all
it's probably gonna like stay. Maybe they want it to be like, you know, just strictly for U.S. You know, I think regulations is coming. Like it's clearly gonna happen. I think.
But just like you were talking about. Yeah, there were so many regulatory people that were trying to get after Binance, the CFTC, the SEC, the FDIC, like, and it was even some like regulatory place in like Texas that were trying to get after them. Like, there's 5 different regulators. Just like you were saying, if you cut out like 2 of those groups and just make like 1 or 2 of them in charge, like one in charge and like one to double check the one that's in charge, like how much more like salaries and governmental like stuff would you save and put back in the hands of the citizens, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel you. I agree with you on that one, bro.
Well, I guess maybe the robots are gonna, you know, be the reason why we get UBI. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of wonder what like excuse they're gonna make up to make this shit make sense. See, this is what's funny about this fucking Mickey Mouse money system. You know, when you really think about what's going on, it's like they really got to make everything try to make sense. You know, in order to maintain confidence, right?
Well, if you look at what happened with Rona, right, the whole game there was like, okay, let's make you scared for your life or scared for your job. So, okay, we scare you in that way. All we have to do is give you a little nudge and you'll just do what we want. We really don't even have to make it like you have to do this legally. We can give you a little nudge because you're scared for your job or you're scared for your life. So that's probably how they get UBI across, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, there's an excuse in like different states, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, we have an oil well, or like, oh, we have like in Alaska, you know what I mean? Like they have an excuse over there too and shit like that, you know? it's just funny. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where you just like contemplate the system you're in and shit like that. It's just funny.
Yeah, like, and I know people know that I talk a lot about the ISO 20022 coins, and that most of those are ran by the bankers. But to be honest with you, you know, if you have your Bitcoin or some Litecoin and you have that like on something that you can transact with another person, the government really can't take that from you. So at the end of the day, if you have Bitcoin or some type of gold or silver or something you can use for trade, you're pretty much straight. Like,
yeah, I mean,
not much they can do. Even if they have you like using a programmed CBDC, they can't stop you from trading with someone, right?
No. Well, see, that's another thing. I was actually talking about that earlier today. For whatever reason, people think that CBDCs are going to somehow eliminate the use case for other tokens, and I think that's like silly to think, because when you have a proper business model integration, or if you have a proper use case, or some sort of anything creating demand to use that token for products or services, that's a currency. It's over. You know, like, it's as simple as that, peer to peer. And I don't know, man. Sometimes, all right, so part of me feels like, yeah, clearly regulations is a guarantee. You know, they're regulating it in other places. You know, it's coming here eventually. You know, whatever, right? But then there's another side of me that thinks like, well, what happens if, you know, it's kind of like the whole reason why we're going to use it, because they don't want to let us use it. You know what I mean? Like,
ooh, that's a good question, bro.
Yeah, you know, you ever think of that? Like, I think about that sometimes, where I'm like, damn, dude, like, because if you're splitting monetary systems or you're going to use something else, like, it's like this whole entire conflict of interest that they don't like. So you see what I'm saying?
That's a good
question.
Like, that's a good question, bro.
You never know.
Well, you look at Nigeria. I don't know if you heard about what's going on in Nigeria.
Is that the one where like they were like not having it, where they came out with a CBDC?
100%. That's the one. That's the one. Like, literally,
right? No? Or is it something new?
Like, literally 98% of them are using like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency instead of using the CBDC. Like 98%, bro. Like, I don't think you could get 98% of Americans to do anything, bro. Like, like, you're gonna have like the D's and the R's fighting against each other, and like, I don't think there's any way that you can have that happen here.
And shout out to all my people saying happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's cool. The moon is the signal for the lizards. You're absolutely right, Crypto Maniac 1776. Do you see that? Do you see
no,
these?
I can't see the comments.
Oh, I wonder if I could show you somehow, or maybe.
Okay, yeah, I can see them now. I had the wrong button pressed. My bad.
Okay. But yeah, man, I think about that side of things too, and I don't know, man. Maybe they might make it only for certain types of people in certain regions. Who knows? You know. Any man. I mean, it's any man's guess, I suppose. What other picks are you taking a look at, bro? Besides Cass, you said Jazz. I say Jasmine. Some people say Jasmine. Whatever. You guys know exactly.
Tomatoes, tomato, whatever.
It doesn't matter. Tomatoes, tomatoes. Right. You know what we're saying. It's like
when
people used to bitch at me all the time. They're like, "It's not Ethereum, okay? It's not Ethereum. It's That's
whatever. All right, bro. You can say whatever you want.
I forget what the fuck it was. Ethereum. I forget what I used to say.
Well, I used to say MYC. What was it? No, MyC, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, remember when I first told you, I was like, hey, just so you know, it's MYC, but you know, I don't care. You can just keep saying that too. It doesn't matter.
And I just said it for like at least like 5 more times. We did like 5 more collaborations, and I'm like, oh, it's MYC.
I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm horrible with names too. It sucks. Like it's. You know what's crazy is like I feel like we're entering into this age where it's like we're just vibing off energy versus like words, you know, because it's like data is traveling so much faster now, you know, everything. We want everything so much faster. And that's probably why people lose their minds, because they can't like watch all my content because they're like, oh, it's an hour long, you know. But but again, I think I think people just want data so much more faster, to the point where it's like, now when you meet someone, you're like, all right, I remember your face, I remember we vibe. And, you know,
Right.
but eventually, of course, after repetition, it comes together, you know what I mean? But like, there's definitely longer periods of time happening where you don't even really remember each other's names, but you're still vibing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's that
You guys ever
TikTok.
like go to the club or something like that, and there's like you just always run into like the same couple people here and there and shit like that, or you know, or if you go anywhere, you go out anywhere that just you happen to see the same person, and then like eventually you're cool. You ever have that happen to you?
Oh
College,
yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Oh
same
yeah.
class.
First language is body language, bro. So it's like,
Yeah,
okay, you got a good vibe, you know, you got good body language, you know, I'm feeling you. Okay, we're good. I might
exactly.
not know your name right now, but I know who you are.
Yeah, yeah. Um, you know, it's crazy, man. I had a couple people call me Jose a few times, you know, and I'm just like,
Oh,
what
dude.
the fuck?
Oh, that's racist as
And I'm
hell,
like,
bro.
Beaners will bean, but you know, fuck it. I'm like, oh, you know, that's cool. I'll go by Jose. I know you. I mean, as long you know who I am, so it doesn't really matter. It's like, you know, it's not like like I didn't get to choose the names anyways. So
That's messed up, bro. That's messed up. That's okay. That's okay. You're a good
like,
man.
go to
You're
a
a good
different
man,
country, meet some like bitch or something like that, and give her like some random name. Hi, my name is John. But yeah, man. Yeah, tell me what other stuff you got on radar.
Well, let's see here. So
Sorry,
Jasmine
going off topic
has
a lot.
Wad's Pay. Wad's Pay.
I'm out.
Shout out to Gomes in the chat, bro. Wad's Pay. I love, and Be Like Water. Got a couple of my guys in the chat here, bro. I love it.
All right, show me on Wad's Pay, because I feel like it's rug. Seriously, like I don't see whenever here's my speculation on it, I guess.
Let's hear it, bro.
I'm like, okay, another payment system, and I get everyone has payment systems, but it's like, okay, great, but what else? You know, I don't know.
Right.
It doesn't sizzle me, you know, and it's just
Right.
everything's
That's 100%. That's 100%. Like there are like 85,000 payment systems out there, right? I agree.
Make
But
it
here,
I'm not saying
it,
it's the bottom of the barrel, I guess, you know, but all I'm saying is like, you know, I want something that like, you know.
No, I feel you. I feel you. I
Me a
feel
little
you.
bit, you know.
I got you though. I got you.
All right, but show me.
Okay, I got you though. So all of their like head guys, ex-Swift guys. So you
Now,
know
is this
that
true?
huh?
Is this true?
This is true. This is true. You can go on their website, bro, and you can see it. All of them ex-Swift guys.
Okay.
And then you look and you see that their focus, all BRICS nations, bro. All BRICS nation stuff. Who are they teamed up with? Algorand and XDC. XDC? What is XDC about?
But couldn't you go and say like, all right, I'm gonna go, we're gonna get this section of the earth to adopt this currency to use for groceries or use for this or that. Couldn't anybody say that?
You could, however, but bro, this is a good segment. Like, convince me on this crypto.
About it.
We got to do this more often. But okay, so you could, however, when you got 5 ex-Swift guys, you know what I mean? They already got the banking connections. They already know what they're doing. So this is not just like blah, blah, blah payment system, right? This is 5 like ex-Swift guys who already have the connection.
Send me some links, bro. I'm gonna I'll look into it further and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
but hold on though. Okay. We're not done.
Besides the ex,
but wait, there's more. But wait,
okay, perfect. All right, let's go. That's great.
So not only do we have the 5 ex-Swift guys, we have that they're partnered up with XDC. XDC is the settlement coin for R3 Cordia. What's R3 Cordia? Glad you asked. R3 Cordia is it has all the different like clearing houses for all the banks, bro. Like, I mean, like Wells Fargo, NASDAQ, this clearinghouse called DTCC, which does like clearing for like Bank of America, like Goldman Sachs, like all them, right? So they're teamed with XDC, who's the settlement coin for this enterprise crypto R3 Cordia.
So they
So
launched. So they
they're already,
where did they launch the coin? On
Where
like
did they launch it?
Yeah, what network did they launch it on?
They launched it on Algorand.
Okay.
Oh no, they launched it on XDC. They
Okay.
launched it on XDC. So from the moment they started, they're already like, okay, we're going to be a payment crypto, and we're going to connect to all these different banking clearinghouses by being a part of XDC. So like from the beginning, bro, they were like, okay, let's hook this up so we can be connected to all of Legacy. And then, you know, throw Algorand on top of there. Algorand, we already know Algorand is like quantum hackable, like not quantum hackable because they have Falcon, right? They're one of the fastest cryptos out there, 6,000 TPS. And of course, they're ISO compliant and all of that. And, you know, dealing with the central banks and all of that. So they're keeping good company, bro.
I guess it's because they run on top of XDC, right?
So
anything that gets launched on XDC then would be ISO compliant,
right?
It's really just it's really just a giant communication system. You know what I mean? Like I feel like everything kind of has the eligibility for ISO compliance just for the fact that you're traveling on the same rails. Like
it is. It's a big nice check mark to have to say, okay, like it is just a messaging system, and just to say, okay, you're compliant with this messaging system, but it now means like you're regulatory okay, kinda. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you know, we can now send remittance payments across the world because we have this ISO compliance.
Who would you say they're competing with? Because they're a layer 2, right? You know, so who would you say they would be competing with right now?
Well, there's one payment system called Veo. I think you told me about that one actually.
Velo, like VELL.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a nice one. That's another one. You know, because I like that one too. But that's that thing I was talking about where I was like, it's just like it's something I'm not going to consider holding that long. You know what I mean? Like well, I don't have any now. You know what I mean? Some of our guys do, but we're a supporter. You know, we're a supporter of like some payment platforms, stuff like that. But again, it's like, who's going to hold this as a store value? You know what I mean? Like,
yep. Shout out to my guy Bird Dog in the chat.
But again, it's still okay. I mean, whatever, you know, if we could get some multipliers, fuck it, you know, but but again, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, whenever I go back to like this part where I'm like, oh, you know, I'll use this as a payment system, you know, it's like it's blockchain is a payment system. Like there's not like you got your blockchain, you got your payment system, you got your data, everything's there. So it's like I try to look for these differentiating things because it's like, okay, well, if it's a payment processing company, then okay, so is Ripple, you know, and then okay, so is XLM, okay, so is XDC, you know, so is ETH, so is fucking Bitcoin. Like it goes back into that, like, not special enough, but will there be multipliers with enough marketing here and there? Yeah, absolutely. But who's going to be holding, you know? So that's kind of
that's why with WASPay you kind of get into like, okay, they're connected to the World Economic Forum people, like they're doing stuff and they're recognized by the World Economic Forum people. Again, ex-Swift guys. So you got all the right connections there with WASPay. Same with Velo. Velo's built on Stellar. They have a deal in place with Visa where they're exploring Asian markets, BRICS nations again, right? So I think Velo WadsPay, and then Alchemy Pay. Alchemy Pay, another one, BRICS Nations one. I think the guy who runs Alchemy Pay is also Asian. They just did some things with the digital yuan, and you know how big the digital yuan's getting because now Russia and Brazil are using the digital yuan for a trade instead of the US dollar.
Yeah, I saw that. So it's crazy, man. I think we're definitely closer than a lot of people think. Algo, isn't Algo and HBAR also, kind of connected with WEF too?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Crazy.
HBAR for sure. They just did the last Davos conference in 2023. They had like a 5-day, they hosted a whole 5-day like conference. And the Hedera consensus protocol links into that R3 Cordia that I was telling you about, where WadsPay links into that, where it has all the banking clearinghouses. So Hedera links into that. It also, Hedera links into the IBM Hyperledger fabric. So,
do you like anything running on top of HBAR yet?
I think I can think of off the top of my head, just HBAR itself.
There's not too many. I mean, I think HBAR has, unless, all right, I might be confusing Algo and HBAR a little bit with these L2s, but I think I'm pretty sure none of you guys make fun of me for this. Okay. I'm a little bit blurry right now. Okay. I think, isn't Smilecoin on there? And then Opulus. Am I thinking right? Opulus as well?
Opulus is on Algorand.
Oh, it's on Algorand. Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of Algorand then. Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, bro, it's your birthday. You're entitled to have a couple.
I've had about 4.
Nice, bro. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. Sorry about that. And there was like a weird one on there too. I guess I'm thinking of Algo, then I really am. Okay. There was another weird one on there. What was it, like Smart Planets or something like that? It's like planets or something. It has like an eyeball or something. Remember this thing? It's like a green, really weird company.
I know.
But the system, the way they had, I just remember researching the mechanism. It was kind of cool looking. I don't have any, but I think it's definitely a weird one to take a look at just to like see the model of it. I love looking at like business models, or like the mechanism. I really enjoyed that part of this industry. Let me see.
I know there's one called Galaxy that Spencer Dinwiddie, the basketball player, is starting.
Planet Watch. Look up Planet Watch.
Okay, Planet Watch. I'll have to take a look at that, bro.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, I haven't got updated with it, but when I looked at it at the time, it was like kind of cool looking. I didn't grab it. Like, I think I don't remember, to be honest. I don't think I grabbed that much.
Okay,
this was
let me
but
pull up before I forget. So that sounds pretty good. But yeah, I've been looking at a lot of BRICS Nation cryptos lately. Shout out to the patrons. They have lists on that. But yeah, like I'm really thinking we see a BRICS Nation takeover in the next like 5 years, bro. Like, yeah. I'm really thinking we see like the digital yuan in the next 5 years kind of overtake the dollar.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's I think a lot of these companies really make it seem like it could happen really quick. I mean, it definitely is possible for sure. I could see it happening, like fast. We're like just a deal in the room and out of nowhere before things collapse. I don't know if they're going to wait till things break. I don't think they would, right? What do you think? Do you think they're going to wait to switch over? Well, maybe there might be more. There might be more reserve currencies, like maybe you're going to have a reserve currency for the US, a reserve currency for China, maybe.
Shout out to my guy, Waters Above Crypto. One of the things I heard him talk about, he was like, okay, 100 years from the Great Depression is 2029. So that might be something to watch out for, that we have like
No, actually, that makes sense. It's kind of weird timing because the BIS released a document, and I recommend everyone take a look at it. It's called the Gold Standard Implementation Process, and basically it's a document that you could download from the BIS website itself, and it's instructing banks to purchase gold. And this was like back 2020, okay.
Yep.
And they said to collect gold until 2028. That would be like their max time limit to allocate the reserve percentage that will be, their ability to lend or whatever the case. Now, at first, I thought like, oh, this kind of sounds really bullish for gold, but if you really think about it, it's kind of like more of a forecast. It's like a projection of how much inflation they know is coming. Yeah. And if 2028 is their deadline, then maybe that has some merit to what he's saying for about 2029. Because if something does collapse and they got a bunch of gold, they can instantly lapse over the new whatever they want to call it. So that's a pretty good. Where did he get that from, or what did he say again? Exactly.
That it was 100 years from the last huge Great Depression stock market crash. So I think that's where he was pulling that from.
That's cool. I'm gonna read into that. That's cool. I always like reading into like a little bit of history and kind of getting an idea, stuff like that. Before I was really focused on the 94 bond market crisis. I feel like that's going to be similar to how our currency is going to take another crash,
Ooh, okay. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I feel like we're going to have like a bond market crisis, and that's going to lead into our currency crisis because, the bond market is basically your confidence in US dollar debt, if you really think about it. And the debt is a representation or a reflection of US dollar value. And when you're taking a look at the index based on last year, 114, they were dumping a bunch of bonds. A lot of these currencies were collapsing, like the euro and the pound. So when the euro and the pound collapsed, what did they do? They sold a bunch of US dollar bonds to cover the charge. So they just swapped the liquidity and it was okay again. So I think eventually what's going to happen is a lot of these central banks or countries are going to take advantage of the dollar while it's still deflationary. It deflated 114 last year, and now we're still somewhat in a deflationary environment. We're like 101. I think we're going to do 103 before June, and then we might go through a serious crash in the dollar. Maybe I don't know how serious. Maybe it'll be a nice plunge underneath 100 cents. I think, but high, like it'll be like 99 or 100 or something like that at first. When they expand the debt system, the debt ceiling is kind of more or less your tokens cap, right? So as we approach that debt ceiling, we're going to get some compression, which is going to deflate the dollar to a higher value, 101, 103. You're going to incite or incentivize the dumping of more US dollar debt before the expansion of the monetary system, because you want to get those dollars working, because right now we got value, right? So a lot of these guys are going to want to liquidate that money into assets versus waiting till after that expansion. Because even if $1.5 trillion or $2 trillion is not a lot of money, I think it is still compared to the total supply that we got right now, but it's still a decent amount to where it's better as an investor or a country. They're no different than us. They're looking for yield. So clearly they're going to utilize the dollar strength as they have it now, whether it was 114 last year or 101, 103. If you know it's going to be worth 70 cents later or 80 cents, 90 cents, and the trajectory of where we're going, then clearly these governments are not stupid enough to hold fiat. They're going to be acquiring assets at lightning speed. So that way when that that 2 trillion print happens, or whatever they want to call it, now they're going to get more value in those assets because they bought it for less with the dollar value, right? They spent less dollars for that asset. So with the increase in supply, those assets are going to rise. And I think that's what a lot of these governments have been doing to compensate for, the dollar debt that they've been acquiring all these decades. Look at Japan and China. Japan dumped just as much as China has. If you really look at it, I mean, I think they were like 1.4 now down to like 1 trillion. I think China is like 860 billion. You know, it's not far. You know, so I think a lot of these. I don't know if it's malice. I just think it's the smart thing to do. I mean, if you're at the tops and you're trying to sell the tops, they're selling tops. And the last thing, see, this is what I get scared about, with sideline money. I've been very aggressive, especially walking up to June. Been very aggressive, and I'll be aggressive and more aggressive as we, a little bit past it as well. But the sideline money is scary. Money in the bank is a little bit scary, because it's like, if it's just sitting there and I got nothing else to use it for, I want it in the market, because I don't know how much of an effect it's going to have on us when this thing happens. What happens if I'm holding dollars that's sidelined and the dollar goes through a decent margin, where like a dip or something, and assets fucking rocket out of nowhere, because you're going to get a good like first dip in the dollar, and then it's going to trend lower. You know what I mean? But you're still going to get that dunk, and then you're going to trickle down. That's what's going to happen.
Right.
So
and that's going to be the thing. It's like, okay, then do you go hold Bitcoin? Do you go buy gold or silver? Like, people are going to have to make that decision, right?
I think I like going with that 10%, 15%. I mean, it depends. Like when profit margin, like when you're taking profits, stuff like that, I really like a 20% allocation. But if I'm just I'm being aggressive with my capital and stuff like that, I rather hold 5% precious metals, because if the apocalypse does happen, trust me, 5% is going to be worth than the entire portfolio. You really think about it, you know what I mean? So, but if not, I rather keep working that money and all that stuff. But if I'm hedging, if I'm trying to hedge, then yeah, that's like, for instance, I kind of wish that I allocated more profits into gold, like mid 2020, or I'm sorry, 2022 early. You know what I mean? I kept a lot of cash. I invested, into software, and like I wanted to invest it anywhere I could that could do something good or better later than just burning the money, But I do wish that some of that money I kept out of the market and just put it into gold or something like that. But I won't make that mistake again, for sure. I definitely want to do a bigger allocation when's your consideration time? Like, because you're not going to feel the halving. Like, it's not going to happen right on January 1st, 2024.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna be 2 quarters in before you feel it. So chances are we could be looking at major peaks, 2025 to mid to late. Somewhere in there.
So
but
glad you brought that up.
What's your forecast on that?
Because okay, so the halving before this one, it took about like 16 months for everything to get into full gear. And then this latest halving, it took 6 months for everything to get into full gear. So this halving,
it's gonna be a bigger one. This is gonna be like
it may happen way sooner.
Yeah,
it might even happen before the halving if you go like
it does look like it.
Yeah.
And it's happening faster than. See, that's the one thing that kind of gets me about like where we're at, but based on everything we're looking at, I think with the banks and it's a perfect
not
story.
saying that it is, but you might want to be prepared in case it does. Here's
the problem: we don't give each other enough credit, because what seems clear to us does not seem clear to everybody else. Okay. Right. And sometimes I got to go there with myself, because I question my forecast 24/7. I always want to. I'm a person that loves looking at like worst case scenario and letting my imagination go wild. That's the type of person I am. I'm very like conservative that way. But because of that, I've lost my train of thought. I hate that shit. Telling you,
that's man. Okay, bro.
Hey, everybody just barely watching. Don't forget, it's my birthday. I've been drinking, so.
Well, yeah, bro. It's like I'm totally going to be prepared in case it happens in case things go bullish before the halving. Because with what I just laid out there, 16 months to 6 months, and now a next halving coming up, it's quite possible it can go bullish before then. So
let's shout out Bird Dog real quick. So he said he feels housing crash, everything crash coming. Yeah. I think so. I think stock market's definitely gonna I think it's gonna tank pretty hard. I think the bond market's gonna tank, but I don't believe that there's an everything crash. Could it happen? Yeah, for sure. But part of me feels like not everything crashes because you can't. Because think about it, if everything, let's say the stock market crashes, then gold is going to be flying through the roof, and gold is a representation of a digital asset, but it still works like a physical asset because it hedges, and then it also some of them could be deflationary, some of them could be inflationary, depending on the mechanism. But because of this, I really and I regret saying this. Okay, it's going to hurt a little bit, because I am a person that values precious metals a lot.
Yep.
But I do feel that precious metals do kind of work in favor and kind of similar to precious metals. I feel like crypto works very similar to precious metals.
100%.
There's some whenever I see gold going up, I see crypto going up.
Yeah,
so
there's some woo woo into that too, Dion.
Yeah, could be.
No, there's some woo woo into that. I don't know if you guys know. I have a crypto and conspiracy. Some people have a problem with that word conspiracy, but I have a crypto and conspiracy channel on Rockfin, and also it's on Apple and Google Podcast. And I did a whole episode with some guys that's called "Money is Sacrifice." And Bitcoin tracks very, very closely to gold. And then one asset that I'm really kind of big on right now is digital silver. Litecoin travels matches pretty closely to silver. If you look at if you look at the charts, silver and Litecoin are almost identical.
Think about it. It's a programmed scarcity. And that scarcity and the value, the liquidity that's backing the token, it offers somewhat of a science experiment, but it does represent a exchange rate, and that exchange rate is locked in variable. So once it's locked in and another asset like the dollar crashes or whatever, that margin in dip is profit margin on your side, and it always happens that way. Look at every recession is very bullish. It's like, yeah, the economy is crashing. Maybe if you do get a big crash, you're going to see the biggest bull cycle afterwards. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like right. Pennies on the dollar or whatever, So at the end of the day, whether you're on either side of the fence, it's still a bullish territory. I'm honestly, just based on what I do, I'm not going to exit my positions. I like where I'm at. I think I have some pretty decent bottoms. And let's say even if there was some sort of dip, I don't imagine it dipping that much. And if it gets caught, then it gets caught. But I think it'll be a snap back anyways. Because a lot of these things, it's not going to, even if you get what's the word? Even if you get a force major, even if you get like a force major type of situation, you're going to get that big dip, but it's going to be on afterwards, crazy on, so even as long as you're tracking your good bottoms, on positions, I think that even if you do get a bigger dip, it's not going to hurt you enough to be like, oh man, I missed. I'd rather I put it this way. I wouldn't mind buying, let's say if everything were to crash crazy by tomorrow, let's say,
lunar eclipse tomorrow, guys.
Still buy today.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
100%.
After that, it's going to be wild. It's going to be a whirlwind, and a lot of those bottom prices. See, this is another thing. This is an emerging market. The crypto sector is an emerging market. So going from zero up. So again, we're so close. You're not going to get 10 cent XRP anymore.
Oh, hell no. No way. No way.
Saying like those are certain things that I think about, because it's like, you know, when you're converting fiat into crypto or fiat into precious metals, you're it's an exchange rate. It's different.
Right.
Like it's weird. And for some reason, and clearly this is true, because look at what's going on with Bitcoin, you know.
And think about this. I've had some people like, and I know Michael Saylor said this before too, like, think about like gold's always going to be mined, silver's always going to be mined, but Litecoin and Bitcoin are only, you know, at their respective limits, right? Bitcoin 21 million and Litecoin 84 million. That's it. There's not going to be any more of that mined other than those amounts, right? And they already have a built-in time cycle, so you can only mine so much is forced on you. Okay, so in some instances, someone could say, "I'd rather have, you know, Bitcoin and Litecoin than precious metals." You know, of course, I would say, you know, you still want to be a diverse, right? Even though you can make that argument, right?
Hold on one sec. Let me just.
Right. Shout out to my guy Bird Dog in the chat. We've done.
Alfonso, I'll be able to assist you. We'll get somebody to help you. I pretty much all. Let's see. He says, "Good evening." Well, I'll get to you in an email, bro. Don't worry about it. I don't want to like interrupt. But I'm pretty. I mean, I don't really. So Bird Dog thinks there might be a Jubilee. I don't know about Jubilees, bro. Could Jubilees make sense? I don't think it's going to be like a button switch, you know what I mean? But I do think you could make a Jubilee. And if you kind of like, let's say if you were to buy assets now and you rise the markets via inflation to pay off debt deficit, because you could pay off debt by, you know, devaluing your currency. You see what I'm saying? So they could leverage inflation or deflations to pay off massive amounts of the debt deficit, and the debt deficit we all share. So it is possible for a Jubilee, but not for everybody, because I don't know if. Well, see, that's it. This is where it gets into that. Well, is it going to happen for somebody that, like, you know, did the right thing, or is it going to happen for someone that didn't do the right thing? You know what I mean? Because it's like the Jubilee for the people that did the right thing or took action, you know, or is it the Jubilee for everybody? Right. I mean, we'll see. But it is good topics. You know, I like all those topics. I think it's interesting. Like, clearly we don't ever have anything definitive, but I mean, whatever, you know, if it happens, it happens. I think it'd be great for everybody. I mean, but here's the thing though, man. What's unfortunate about the monetary system, no matter what we deal with, and this is why I feel like the monetary system we have right now is going to last a bit longer, is without a manipulated market, you can't have a market. You see what I'm saying?
100%.
So, you know, I get it. Trust me.
That's it, 100%. Like, and that's why it's going to stick around, because they have to put the rails in to be able to properly manipulate crypto, and those rails aren't there yet. So that's the only reason why.
Trust me, I love the conversation. It's definitely not debate worthy, but it's more of those, like, because I'm not going to debate clearly. I mean, I don't know. Like, none of us know, you know, but it's awesome to think about. But I don't know. I don't want to drink too much Kool-Aid though either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always like, I don't know about all that. Like, I don't want to invest with the idea that we're going to have a Jubilee. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it is, you know, so I try not to go there with myself to think like that. But it is an interesting topic. I like stuff like that. You know, we definitely have a lot of reptilian, very gecko-like people out there. So I wouldn't doubt the bullshit. I mean, if you look at how imaginary the monetary system is, I mean, let's not forget that they just got through talking about, you know, oh, we're gonna mint a 1T token. You know what I mean? Like a 1T platinum coin. You know, that type of stuff. You know. But look, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys really got me going. You know, I love these combos. It's always fun to talk to you guys. But let's definitely do it again. And, you know, thank you for spending the time with me, especially on my birthday, bro. I appreciate that. Not, you see,
Oh,
not
no
a lot of my
problem.
friends even do that for me. So, you know, I appreciate those things.
No problem, bro. Yeah, definitely do this again. Enjoy the rest of your birthday. Peace, brother.
All right, man. Be easy, bro. Good talking to you guys.